In this video, I will be running Grand Theft Auto 5 on my RTX 4070 Ti. I have it paired with the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X CPU. It is an 8-core CPU and I have also got 32GB of RAM installed onto this machine. We will be running MSI Afterburner in the background so that we can monitor stats like FPS, frame time graphs, GPU temperature, clock speed and stuff like that. So with all that said, it's time to have a look at how the game runs on this hardware. Here are all the game settings that I'm using. Running it at 2560 by 1440 using a 144Hz monitor. And all the other settings are absolutely maxed out. Even the advanced settings are cranked to their maximum values, as you can see. And now it's time for me to show you a little bit of the gameplay, and later in the video I'm going to be heading over to a section in the game which is very intensive. It is having a lot of grass and we are going to test the game there too. So the game is running pretty nicely with the settings that I'm using: 8xMSAA and a resolution of 2560 by 1440. I think these FPS numbers are really good. It stays mostly over 100. And most importantly over that, we are getting a really good frame time consistency. You can see that frame time graph. It is not having any spikes, which is a very good sign. It is not generally the case when there are new games launching. I mean, new games are always having some performance issues here and there, and you generally don't get a smooth frame time graph. And I can clearly see the GPU is utilized at its maximum, which is the best case. It is mostly hovering around 98, 97, which is a pretty good sign. VRAM utilization is actually pretty low. This is an old title and I guess these textures are not all that demanding. As far as system RAM is concerned, I guess 16GB of RAM is more than what you need to play this game, because we are only utilizing under 11GB of RAM. And by the way, I'm not having any fancy B-die kits. This is just a CL18 kit that I'm running at 3600 MHz, so no fancy RAM is in use right now. So as I was talking about earlier in the video, this section of the game is really intensive and I'm going to drive up, and as you can see, we are having an FPS drop. Which is not at all bad, because we were around 60 FPS for the most part. And I guess we have a little tiger that I killed. I'm going to drive back again to this same section. And I'm having a really bad time controlling this car. So there is a lot of grass here and I can see the lowest FPS number, which never went below 52. So it is actually really good performance. This time I will be turning down the MSAA from 8x to 4x, and then we are going to have a look at how the game performs. So 4xMSAA is very good actually. We are getting way too many FPS than before, actually double the amount of FPS that we were getting in this area, almost double I would say. So the lowest FPS that I can see is 89 so far, with 4 times MSAA. Previously it was, I guess, 52 with 8 times MSAA. So the performance is holding up pretty nicely in this area with 4 times MSAA. But there is a little problem that I face with 4 times anti-aliasing. I mean 4x anti-aliasing, and that is we sometimes hit the engine limits, which is a pretty bad thing in this game. As soon as you are hitting FPS around 185, you start experiencing those shutters, which is a pretty bad thing. In this driving section, I am not hitting that FPS range of 180 FPS. That is why the game is running without any problems. But if I am going to hit those 180 FPS, then surely the game is going to shutter. And I guess I'll have to find a section where I can demonstrate that. So I guess if I'm going to go to a section where I can score some higher FPS numbers, maybe here, or I don't think I'll be able to do that, but I guess you got the point. So basically, if you want to run this game at 4 times MSAA, and if you want the FPS to stay over 100 for the most part, then surely you will have to lock the frame rate, and I'm going to show you just that in just a moment. So this time I have locked the frame rate at 100 FPS, and as you can see, we are getting a really smooth gameplay experience. That frame time graph is a straight line. We are not getting any dips, and this is how I would like to play the game. As you can see, we are not having any sort of dips below 100. It surely will drop around 90 in some sections of the game for sure, but this is the way how I like to play this game. I guess it's time to hijack a new car.
Dude, trust me, you don't want a carpool with me.
In case you guys are having performance problems, then surely you should have a look at your frame time graph. It must be having big spikes, and we are going to drive to this section again, and I'm a pretty bad driver for sure, and I haven't seen a drop below 99 so far. 90 is the lowest, 83, 81, 85, and this is still very acceptable performance, I would say. So this is how Grand Theft Auto 5 performs on an RTX 4070 Ti and a 5800X. The game is running pretty nicely. I'm very satisfied with the performance of the game. I'm getting some really good frame time consistency. As you can see, that frame time graph is a straight line, which is what you want in most games. I mean, in every game, but that is not possible due to the optimization issues, and there are many other variables that are responsible for it. But yeah, the game runs really well on this GPU and a 5800X, and I must say the 5800X is still a really good CPU today. I mean, even today we have far more powerful CPUs than 5800X, but it runs Grand Theft Auto 5 really well, and the usage is also not too high. I haven't seen it go past 60 for the worst case. So this is it for this video. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you have any questions, queries, or any problems that you're encountering, you can feel free to mention them down in the comment section, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do subscribe to the channel for more videos, and I'm going to talk to you in the next one.